Most people think the dangerous years are your 20s, when you're broke, figuring it out, making mistakes. But that's not when the real damage happens. The real damage happens when you finally feel like you've made it, when the salary goes up, when the apartment gets nicer, when the car finally matches how you feel on the inside. That moment, that feeling of arrival, is exactly when most Americans quietly and visibly destroy their financial future. And the scary part? It feels like success the entire time. This is a story of what actually happens between 30 and 40. The decade that looks like growth but functions like a trap. And by the end, you're going to see your own life in this. And you're going to understand exactly what to do differently before it's too late. Let's start at the beginning. Level 1. The arrival illusion. Age 30 finally feels real. You're 31. You just got a $20,000 raise. After years of grinding, of cheap apartments and ramen budgets, and telling yourself, just wait, the number in your offer letter finally feels serious. $85,000 a year. Maybe $95,000. Maybe more. And something shifts inside you. Not greed, not arrogance. Something quieter than that. Something that sounds a lot like, I've earned this. And you have. That part is true. So you do what feels completely logical. You upgrade the apartment first. Your old place was fine, but fine isn't what a $95,000 salary looks like. You find something with a gym in the building, a skyline view, maybe a doorman. It's $600 more a month. You do the math in your head. The raise covers it. Easy. Then the car. Your 2017 Civic has 90,000 miles on it. It still runs fine, but it doesn't feel fine anymore. You lease something newer. Something that smells new. Another $450 a month. Then the subscriptions, the restaurants, the weekend trips, the wardrobe refresh. Because your new office has a vibe and you need to match it. Each decision on its own makes complete sense. Together, they just change your entire financial future. And you don't feel it yet. You won't feel it for years. This is Derek. And this is level 1 of the trap. Level 2, the math nobody shows you. Here's what Derek's $20,000 raise actually looked like after taxes. Around $13,500 extra per year. About $1,125 per month. And here's what his upgrades actually cost him per month. $600 more in rent. $450 in car payments. Another $300 in lifestyle expenses. Dining out more, better gym, subscriptions he barely uses. That's $1,350 per month in new spending. He's already in the red on his raise. But it doesn't feel like that, because his base salary covers the base expenses. The raise just covered the upgrades. It feels like balance. But there's a number missing from Derek's calculation. A number he never wrote down. What would happen if he invested that $13,500 instead? At 31, with 34 years until retirement at 65, $13,500 invested annually at a 7% average return, the historical stock market average adjusted for inflation, grows to something that will change how you see every single lifestyle decision you ever make. That $13,500 per year becomes $1.87 million by the time Derek is 65. $1.87 million. Gone. Not spent on something dramatic. Not lost in a bad investment. Just quietly redirected into a nicer apartment and a car that smells good. That's not a lecture. That's just math. And the math is brutal. But here's what makes level 3 the most dangerous part of all of this. Level 3. The comfort compound. When lifestyle gets sticky. 2 years pass. Derek doesn't notice anything wrong. How could he? Life is good. His apartment is great. His car is reliable and clean. He goes out when he wants. He travels once or twice a year. He even opens a 401k. He puts in 4% to get the employer match. He's doing the responsible thing. He's being an adult. But here's what nobody tells you about lifestyle. Lifestyle doesn't stay flat. It compounds. Every year, what felt like a luxury becomes a baseline. The nice apartment isn't exciting anymore. It's just home. The car isn't a reward. It's just transportation. The restaurants aren't special. They're just Tuesday. So when the next raise comes at 33, there's nowhere to go but up again. Another upgrade. A slightly bigger place because you're thinking about space now. A newer car because the lease is up. A few more subscriptions. Better travel. A gym with actual classes. None of it is irresponsible by normal standards. None of it would raise any eyebrows. But the wealth gap between Derek and someone who made different choices is now growing at a terrifying speed. Because lifestyle creep has a compounding effect just like investing does. Every dollar redirected away from assets and into expenses doesn't just cost you that dollar. It costs you every future dollar that dollar would have generated. And this brings us to Diana. Level 4. Same raise. Completely different decade. Diana is also 31. Same industry as Derek. Same raise. Same $20,000. But Diana plays it differently. She does upgrade. Don't misread this. She's not living like a monk. She's not eating rice and sleeping on a mattress on the floor. She moves to a slightly nicer apartment. $200 more a month, not $600. She keeps her car. It has 90,000 miles, but it runs perfectly. She upgrades one thing that actually improves her daily life. A better gym closer to her office. Total lifestyle increase. $350 per month. That leaves her $775 per month from a raise to redirect. She puts $500 into her investment account, automated, every single month. The other $275 becomes her life is good fund, dinners, concerts, weekend trips. She doesn't feel deprived. She actually feels more intentional. Over 34 years, that $500 per month at 7% average returns becomes, hold on, $2.3 million. Not because Diana is smarter than Derek. Not because she earns more. Not because she found some secret investment. Just because she chose $350 in lifestyle upgrades instead of $1,350. The difference in monthly spending between Derek and Diana, $1,000. The difference in retirement wealth, roughly $2 million. That is a quiet trap. That is a number that never shows up on anyone's monthly budget, so nobody feels it until it's far too late. But there's something even more disturbing that happens by level 5. Level 5, the identity lock. When your lifestyle becomes who you are. By 35, something subtle but permanent starts to happen. Derek can't easily go back. It's not just about money anymore. It's about identity. His friends know him as someone who lives in a certain part of the city. His co-workers know him as someone who goes to good restaurants, wears certain clothes, drives a certain type of car. If Derek wanted to downgrade now, move somewhere cheaper, drive something older, it would feel like failure. It would feel like going backward. This is the identity lock. And it's the most expensive part of the trap, because now Derek isn't just making financial decisions. He's defending a self-image, and that costs money. Every year, quietly, with compounding consequences. Meanwhile, Diana at 35 has something Derek doesn't. Options. She could take a risk on a startup because she has a financial cushion. She could travel for 3 months because her expenses are low and her savings are real. She could negotiate harder for a better job because she's not desperate for the income. Money isn't just a number. It's leverage. It's options. It's the ability to say no to things that don't serve you and yes to things that do. At 35, Diana has that. Derek is starting to realize he doesn't. And this is where the mid-decade reckoning begins. Level 6, the reckoning. When the 30s start to feel heavy. Here's the part nobody films for Instagram. Around 36, 37, 38, something changes in tone. The upgrades stop feeling exciting. The apartment is just the apartment. The car is just the car. The dinners are just dinners. But the expenses are still there. Bigger than ever. Actually, because lifestyle doesn't shrink on its own. And quietly, a new pressure arrives. Maybe it's a housing market that's completely out of reach. Maybe it's watching a friend talk about their investment portfolio and realizing you don't have one. Not really. Maybe it's running the numbers for the first time and feeling a cold, specific kind of dread. Derek, at 38, looks at his 401k and sees less than $100,000. He's been contributing 4%, getting the match, and somehow that feels like both something and nothing at the same time. He does the math, maybe for the first time, honestly, and realizes that at his current trajectory, he'll retire with somewhere between $400,000 and $600,000 after a lifetime of work. In a country where a comfortable retirement is said to require over $1 million minimum and Social Security, he's watched enough news cycles to know better than to count on that fully. This is the reckoning. The moment the decade stops feeling like an upgrade and starts feeling like a quiet emergency. The terrifying thing about the 30s is that by the time you feel the trap, you're already deep inside it. But here's the thing, and this is critical. It is not too late, not even at 38, because the next level is where everything can still turn. Level 7, the reversal, 5 decisions that change everything. Diana at 38 doesn't feel the reckoning. She feels momentum. Her investment account is approaching $250,000. Her expenses are manageable. She just got a promotion, and instead of upgrading her lifestyle, she upgraded her contribution rate. She's watching her money start to work harder than she does. That feels like something. And here's what she did differently. Not 20 things, not a complete overhaul of her personality, just 5 decisions made consistently. All decade. The first decision, she treated savings as a bill, not a choice. The investment transfer happened automatically, the day after payday. She never saw the money. She never missed it. She never made a decision about it. It was just gone into her future. The second decision, she resisted the first upgrade impulse. Not every upgrade, just the first one, the reflexive one. The I got a raise, so now I deserve better one. She waited 90 days before any major lifestyle change after any income increase. Usually, the urgency was completely gone by then. The third decision, she separated her social identity from her financial identity. She found a version of her life that felt rich in experience without requiring an expensive backdrop. The meals out, the trips, the experiences, she kept those. The square footage, the lease payment, the status symbols, she questioned those hard. The fourth decision, she invested in income, not just assets. She spent money on skills, certifications, and networks that made her worth more. Not because she was obsessed with work, because higher income invested early creates exponential results. The fifth decision, she audited her expenses every 6 months. Not to punish herself, just to ask, is this still worth it? Is this still aligned with what I actually want? She was surprised every single time by how many subscriptions, habits, and expenses no longer made sense, and how easy they were to cut once she saw them clearly. 5 decisions, not 5 sacrifices, 5 redirections. That is the entire difference between $200,000 at retirement and $2 million. Level 8, the decade that defines everything. Here's what nobody tells you about your 30s. Your 20s are about surviving. Your 40s are about managing. But your 30s, the messy, ambitious, expensive, identity-building 30s, those are about deciding. Every dollar you earn in your 30s has the longest runway we'll ever have before retirement. A dollar invested at 31 has 34 years to grow. A dollar invested at 41 has 24. That 10-year gap in compounding is the difference between retiring wealthy and retiring hopeful. The trap is quiet. It's not a bad decision made in a moment of weakness. It's 1,000 small decisions that each feel completely reasonable, each feel like progress, each feel like you finally living the life you worked for. But the apartment doesn't love you back. The car doesn't compound. The subscriptions don't build equity. The future version of you, the one sitting somewhere at 65, either free or stressed, either secure or counting on systems you can't control, that version of you is being built right now by the choices you make before the paycheck lands, by the upgrades you pause, by the investments you automate before you have a chance to spend them. Derek's story isn't a tragedy. He still has time, but he has less than he thinks. And the longer the lifestyle stays locked, the harder the reversal becomes. Diana's story isn't about deprivation. It's about direction. She didn't live less. She just chose which version of more to chase. So ask yourself and be honest. Which level are you actually on right now? Not which level you feel like. Not which level looks right from the outside. Which level are you actually on? Because the decade isn't over. And if you start today, not next raise, Not next year, today. The math still works in your favor. That's the part the trap doesn't want you to know.